High School Athletic Association.
And as you see the camera peel back, we are getting set for swimming as we welcome you aboard the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports is live from the Defiance YMCA. As the Bulldogs going to be hosting Anthony Wayne, Ayersville, and Lima Central Catholic.
Our graduating senior.
Brett Balbinot saying thanks for joining us, but on deck, one senior, and she happens to have a familiar last name. There you see DCTV's own Josh Bush and his daughter Jordan.
Jordan is the daughter of Jennifer Winnie and Josh Bush. Her main events are the 100 breaststroke, in which she was a two-time district qualifier, and also the 200 IM. Her favorite memory of this event was Jake yelling at her every day last year to push her to swim faster. After college, after high school, she plans to go to college and obtain a degree in nursing. Some of her great athletic and academic achievements are she has had 15 seasons of swimming, and she swam her first meet at the age of 3. She's a 3-year varsity letter winner in swimming. She's a DECA national qualifier and a 2-year softball letter winner. Her favorite memory was practicing with Adrian every day last year. She would like to thank her coach, Smolda, for coaching me through all the years, and Jake for the last couple of years. She also would like to say thank you to any of the other coaches she has had over the years, with a special shout out to Lori, Rosemary, and Nicole for pushing her to not only be a better swimmer, but also a better person. Let's have a big round of applause for Jordan Bush.
Jordan Bush, the lone senior for Defiance, getting a round of applause from those in attendance here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a country with freedoms like no other. To honor this
time now for our national anthem, and is brought to you by the Defiance County Veterans Association.
Please stand and join in singing our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
And the national anthem in the books, courtesy of our underwriter, the Defiance County Veterans Office. Log on, www.defiance-county.com/veterans office to find out what you might be available for as far as services, if you are a veteran or the family of a veteran. He's made his way up to the balcony here after doing his fatherly duties. It was a quick walk.
Well, at least it's a short 25 yards. If we would have been at
a full 50-meter pole, would you needed to stop? I tell you what, you could have used 100 and come back for all the accolades that Jordan had.
My oldest daughter, when we did it, we had to go all the way around the pool and make. And it was laps, and it is what it is. So,
hey, it's the last time you're going to have the opportunity to do it.
It is, and she's actually going to have the opportunity to swim tonight, and she's thankful for that. But we'll see how it goes.
Whistle sounds as we are getting set for the first event. It's going to be the 200-yard medley relay. And I'm not sure if we're going to have our graphics up, but we're going to see it. Looks like the backstroke will start us off. Anthony Wayne, Defiance. Anthony Wayne's got a couple.
It looks like they've got 3 relays in this particular event.
Yes.
So backstroke, your leadoff leg for the medley relay, and in any sport, Brent, getting off to a good start, always key to getting down and getting your team on the right pace.
Well, in lane number 5, actually it'd be lane number 4. Looks like Lima Central Catholic and Emma Skinner is off to a good start. Defiance, Mia. Am I looking at the right one here? 200-meter
you
relay.
Are, yeah. Okay. It looks like they might have added somebody in lane number 6 there, so might be a LCC team there in
Could
lane
be.
number 6. So yeah, there's not always, but sometimes you get some deck changes.
Yep.
At swim meet. So the second leg of each event is always the breaststroke. So it's one of those specialized groups, and it looks like Anthony Wayne in lane number 5.
Yep. This would be Kiera Swallows.
Taking
now. Jordan was going to swim a couple of relays.
Yeah, so she's
one individual.
She's actually out there
in the breaststroke
in
right
the
now.
Breaststroke lane, the breaststroke portion of this right now. So that was the event that she was really hoping to be able to do. So the hardest of all the strokes right here, the butterfly. You always joke when you get those kids that want to swim the butterfly.
Takes every muscle and then some that you weren't aware that you even had.
Yeah. So Anthony Wayne and their A squad in lane number 5 looks like they're going to hit that final leg.
Yep. And their freestyler is going to be Mallory Swybrick, if I'm looking at the correct lane.
Yeah. We're going to trust the heat sheet to be right today.
We're going to trust the heat sheet for a lot of things, buddy. Well, Anthony Wayne, and again, when you've got enough in your program that you can field 3 relays, you know you've got a lot of kids out.
Yeah, in swimming and diving, it's one of those sports, as we talk about, basketball and these other sports beginning to look at expanding into 6 and 7 divisions and all those. Swimming is still your traditional D1, D2 school. So Anthony Wayne, obviously one of those Division 1 level of schools. So they've got a big group of kids
Huge
to choose from.
Campus.
Yeah.
Huge campus. As wrapping things up on the anchor leg for Defiance is Halen Smith.
Just a freshman addition to the Defiance squad this year. So get some final times up there, but it looks like the Anthony Wayne B squad coming in first place.
Good representation, 204.7.
Boys, 200-yard medley relay.
So the ladies have gone first. Up next, it's the boys' 200-yard medley relay. And again, Anthony Wayne will have multiple teams. We've got Defiance, who will be teaming up with Ayersville this afternoon as well. Ayersville, again, independent, but when you get a meet like this, you and I were talking about it, you're going to have some combined teams today.
Yeah. And looks like the boys are off to a good start here.
It should be Foreman, correct? Kalen Foreman in lane number, is it 5?
Yep, lane 5. Yep. That's Ayersville's squad. Defiance in lane number 3 with Trig Tingle, one of the twins, the freshman twins. But it's Anthony Wayne's team of, now Seth Gregory in the water with the breaststroke now, and has a
huge
nice
lead.
Sizable lead there in lane number 5. Or excuse me, lane number 4. We got a weird angle up here.
We do.
The numbers are a little bit skewed, but
boy, that's a long dolphin kick. He's about a quarter of the length of the pool there.
Yeah, so in the breaststroke, when you come off that turn, you get technically 1 dolphin kick underwater, and then you have to surface. And, it's so important to be able to get yourself that extra space under the water. You can really get a lot of have a little less resistance
Yes.
under the water. So
should be Jarrett Jenkins for Anthony Wayne in lane number 4 here with the breaststroke. Tell you what, it looks like we've got some pretty good gentlemen in this segment of the relay for all the teams.
yeah, and Jenkins for Anthony Wayne, really tall, lengthy, and if you think back to the Michael Phelps days, they always talk about his wingspan. How long he was, and in a butterfly, that's a huge advantage to any swimmer.
I remember watching the Olympics, obviously his final year, but they did a physical breakdown of his wingspan, his leg, his feet, the size of his feet. He was just a genetic freak. He was built to swim.
Anthony Wayne's A relay will take first place at 1:56, so they added about 5 seconds on their seed time, but still a really good swim, keeping that under 2 minutes.
And bringing it in lane number 3 for Defiance is Jonathan Facundo Swanson, excuse me.
So the first couple of relays out of the way, and then we dive into some individual events.
This is going to be heat 1 of 2 heats for the girls' 200-yard freestyle. We're going to see a couple of individuals for Anthony Wayne and one for Lima Central Catholic. And in heat number 2, Anthony Wayne again with another couple. We're going to have Ayersville, Danny Coble, Bryn Lust, and Ava. I'm going to take a guess and say it's Bushline.
Good on you.
For Van Buren? Sure. The Bushlines want to call in or email us after the meet and give us the correct pronunciation if we're wrong. We will correct it at a later broadcast.
I was looking through the heat sheet earlier, and I said, well, there's going to be some tricky names today. We'll leave that to Brent.
Oh, thanks for the vote of confidence.
So we'll see here, heat 1 of 2. So we got
Just
LCC
3, right?
and a senior and a sophomore from Anthony Wayne. A couple of no-time seeds here. So those are always the ones where they may not have swam this event. Not saying that they haven't swam it, but they haven't done it in a meet to have that qualifying time. So sometimes you get a little bit of a surprise here. It looks like in lane number 4, we've got a nice starting swim there from the sophomore from Anthony Wayne.
Yep. Nora Polhuge. And she's got at least a body, maybe a body and a half length. So she looks like she's going to win this one going away. She makes the turn.
50 is in 34, so it's a nice 50 swim on that starting leg. Get into these 200s, obviously pacing, you want to have a really strong start, but then you got to make sure that you don't burn too much gas early. Keep those legs a-kicking and try to help propel yourself through that water. That leg kick is so important, especially when you get into some of these longer events. I always tell the kids, it's easier to push yourself through the water than pull yourself through the water. So see how she does.
Pool, who's got the better part of half a length of the pool right now as a lead, so plenty of cushion. The race basically against herself right now.
And sometimes that's more difficult than being in a spot you don't have a pacer next to you. So you kind of have to guess on your own to see, am I going too slow? Should I be going faster?
The legs are looking just a little heavy now, but she's going to win this one going away.
Todd Hall down there on the pool deck, a former Defiance coach, and his brother Mark is the referee for this afternoon. So he's an avid DCTV sports fan.
Wow! All right, avid. Can
Yeah.
we get him a special T-shirt for that then?
No, he doesn't. No, he
Doesn't want one?
No.
Paige Bruckenberger making the turn, and for Lima Central Catholic, just a freshman in lane 2, Hannah Brunk. And again, you can just see the fatigue kick in. The legs, bottom half starts to sink a little bit. This is a grueling event.
Yeah, and for these kids that are just getting into these longer distance swims, again, it goes back to that leg kick. If you don't want to let those legs sink down on you, you got to work them a little bit harder and make sure that you are just pushing and pushing yourself through that water.
Well, and it's tough, too, because you can start to drift. When the top half takes over a little bit more, you find yourself maybe nudging up against one of the lane markers. You can find yourself, if there's somebody in an adjacent lane, all of a sudden in their wash, so to speak. Now with 3 swimmers here, don't have to worry about that. But young freshman getting cheered on by her teammates.
And you can see as the fatigue sets in there, too, she's now going to just a kind of a push-off turn from that wall instead of going through the flip turns. And, again, those little details. Again, she's a freshman. As she gets older, as she goes through this event some more and builds some of that stamina up, you're going to be able to save yourself a second, 2 seconds, sometimes more on some of those turns. Starts and turns, always so important, especially in these longer events.
As she touches, that will wrap this heat for the 200 freestyle. Now we'll have a few more in the pool. Anthony Wynn again with a couple. Ayersville, going to see Danny Coble. Ayersville has 11 on their roster, but only able to bring 9 to the pool. 1 injured and 1 out sick today. So, but I can say this, and I promised I'd give her some props on the air. Nicole English, you introduced me to her.
Yep.
She gave me plenty of time, broke down the program, which I promised we would use all of her glowing information as the meet progressed.
It's like Colleen Hildebrand from Anthony Wayne has got a really strong lead in this first 50 in lane number 3. We'll see where she comes in on that 50 time as she hits the pad. And
good turn.
She'll be right at 30 seconds, so that's a really solid first 50. And we'll see if she can keep that pace up. She comes in with a seat time of 2:10, so she's going to be, from that time, I would say she's going to hold that pace pretty well. And we'll see if we'll see how that goes for her as she keeps swimming through. Being challenged here in lane number 5, Ava, I believe you said Bushline.
Bushline.
Came in, no seed time in lane number 5 from Van Buren, but also back in lane number 1, Anthony Wayne's Tess Bublik trailing right on the heels of the leader. But those are 2 swimmers, again, no times coming in, but showing a really nice strong swim here in this 200.
A couple of mystery swimmers. Right now in lane number 2, making the turn, probably about 3/4 of a length of the pool behind. Coble. "25-meter pool here." Will most swimmers tell you it's more difficult having to make the extra turn twice, or is it really a push?
To be fair, most of the pools here are short course pools.
So they don't know any better?
They don't know any better, yeah. So I think, to be fair, kids have been swimming for a minute or 2. I don't know that we've ever been to a 50. I don't know that we've ever not been in a 25
so
yard or
you're used
pool.
to it.
So,
They're used to it.
Yeah. It is weird, though. This is most of the pools around here are 25-yard pools.
Yep.
And I believe it's Van Wert has a meter pool. So it's a little bit, the distance is just a little bit off. So some of the swimmers will tell you that kind of goofs with you a little bit.
Hildebrand coming in under her listed time at 2:09.87. I'm guessing she's going to be pleased with that.
You drop about a half a second. Again, you get to this point of the season, you're about a month out from sectionals, and you really want to start trimming those times down. They're going to be a few weeks away from those taper swims, but you really want to be pushing to get those times at about as good as you can, and then you start into your taper heading into the sectionals and districts. So
Event 4, boys.
Well, there you see Coble for Ayersville in lane number 2, finishing in a time of 24:59.
2:48.35. Looks like we might have a little glitch in our time.
I think so. It doesn't match up with the scoreboard here, so we'll try and make sure we give you accuracy.
So the event 4, Mason Dota scratched in heat 2, so they moved all this around to one heat. So lane number 1 will be Garrett Smith from Anthony Wayne. I think this is what if my memory serves me from the pool deck. Seth Gregory from Anthony Wayne in lane 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 are all right here. Brennan Jenkins of Anthony Wayne, Landon Graber of Lakota, lane 5, Landon Stoller of Anthony Wayne, and then lane 6, Dylan Shook from Ayersville. So if I got that right.
I was going to say,
memory serves me right.
You dealt off the top of the deck. We trust that you're accurate. It's a shame Mason Dota couldn't make it, but I know we've been battling a little bit of a gimpy knee, and Coach English just said, if you aren't sure, don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when you look at the sport of swimming, and, you know, a lot of kids don't realize the amount of effort that they're expending. You're in the water. You're sweating. You just don't know it.
Yep.
And when you talk to physical therapists and everything, swimming is a sport that fatigues your body just as quick as anything.
Yep.
And if you have a little bit of a lingering injury or something like, your body can fatigue so quickly that those injuries are a lot more prone to happen just because of the fatigue that you have on your body.
Well, you take a look at them as we're just taking a look at the turn there in lanes, 4 and 5, but it's a full body effort.
Yeah. And we got a good swim going on here. I believe that's Brennan Jenkins, the sophomore from Anthony Wayne in lane number 3, and Landon Graber from Lakota, just a sophomore as well, in 4. And it looks like he's going to be about a body length out, but this is a good, solid swim. I believe this is heading into the 3rd leg.
Yes.
I lost track of where.
This is where you're going to start to see the separation. The cream kind of separates from the crop here. Who's got the better conditioning?
Just a pair of sophomores. This is going to be a really good swim for both of these young men, and they've got some stuff to work for. Excuse me, that was the finish leg.
Tell you what, Jenkins finished strong.
205.
Good looking swim.
So 205.83. That's a solid 3-second drop off of his seat time, and about a second off for Landon Graber from Lakota. So those are both really good swims. Anytime you can hit that personal best, that's what you're looking for every time you hit the pool.
There's the last 2. As you see Stoller about halfway through his final lap.
The freshman from Ayersville, he's 240 seed time. He's going to come in just above that. So a good swim for that freshman. But again, he'll be looking. Coach English is going to be over there going, hey, you could have maybe trimmed up that turn a little bit. You know, little things like that. Breathing out of turns, always a big thing as well. So.
Individual medley.
Well, we're moving with good pace. Let's put it that way.
Pace here.
Up next, we've got the girls' 200-yard individual medley. We've got a couple of heats.
If my memory serves me right, it's fly, back, breast free.
I believe you're correct. And again, a couple of no-timers here. So Nora O'Shea from Anthony Wayne and Brielle Bork from Lima Central Catholic. No times listed. Alyssa Coble from, I keep wanting to say Dayton with DAY. Let's make it Ayersville. She hasn't transferred yet.
Yeah, the acronyms they use in the pool system isn't always the easiest to translate. But
well, they're getting the toughest stroke out of the way first here. And right now, look at this. Pretty much neck and neck between the 3.
This is a good swim by all 3 of these young ladies. And again, you know, you said it, you're getting that tough one out of the way. You're going to be a little gassed, but now you get a chance to, I don't want to say this, get over on your back, but not that it's not a hard stroke, but this is typically the second stroke that swimmers, when they're young, will learn. You go from the freestyle, obviously the first one, and then they flip you over. Some swimmers that struggle with some of them start with that backstroke because, you know, you can actually, in a freestyle, you can actually swim whatever stroke you want because it's free. So,
good turn by Coble. She made up probably about a quarter of a body length there. Tremendous turn.
Neck and neck going into this last 10 meters here of the backstroke, and we'll see what kind of turns we get here going into breaststroke. Will we see any bucket turns here? Yeah, we got a bucket turn in 3. And again, that's one of those things where you start to fine-tune those little turns out of the water quickly, though, and you see that underwater strokes from Coble able to make up a little bit of ground.
Yep. Look who's turning on the jets, though, here with the breaststroke. O'Shea, the sophomore from Anthony Wayne, saving her best for the 3rd leg.
Well, you can tell this is definitely the stroke that she is most comfortable with, and a lot of swimmers can't tell you that. It's a difficult stroke to swim, and again, she's now opened up a 3 body length over the other 2 swimmers.
This is impressive. She was a close third coming into this leg, and she is just blowing everybody else away.
Well, let's see how much gas she has in the tank here for this final 50 free.
She switches to the freestyle, but right now, wow, what would we say here? A half a length, maybe slightly more for her lead.
She's going to have a half a pool separation here at least. 3/4 of a pool by the time the other two get off the wall.
Yep.
We'll see Cobal's here making a really strong swim in the freestyle for Ayersville, and she's going to work to get a good turn here and finish this final 25. Nice strong push.
Yep.
And again, if you're Coach English, you're watching for these little things like that. She makes that turn and takes a breath before that first stroke, bringing out of turns. Well, those little things can help you get a couple of seconds off, but it's going to be a nice finish here for Alyssa Coble. It looks like she's going to
49.
She's going to drop about 3 seconds off of that final time, or off that seat time. So that's a nice solid swim there. And I'll tell you what, you got a 3:01.47 out of the freshman in lane number 2. Excuse me, the sophomore in lane number 2, and man, that's a good swim for someone coming in with no time.
Well, she made it up with the third leg in the breaststroke, and she just took over.
I'll be interested to see if she is in the breaststroke later on in the meet here today. And she is. She's in the 100-yard breaststroke with a 127 seed, so you can tell that that's one of her favorites. That's a pretty good, solid seed time.
Now this is heat number 2 for Maumee Valley. Addie Jaffe, who is a junior. Kate Hildebrand from Anthony Wayne. Claire, I believe it's Driup from Maumee Valley. And Cammie Crandall, also from Anthony Wayne.
Opening leg here, you've got Hildebrand from Anthony Wayne and Crandall from Anthony Wayne going neck and neck here as Crandall, the junior, has a nice lead here halfway through the first 25 of the backstroke down in lane number 5. We'll see what these flip turns are. One stroke out.
Pretty solid.
Get you a nice kick out. So that's a nice solid turn by both of those young ladies. And one of the things you look at, you want to see those shoulders rotating through with the turns, and no bucket turns there for either one of those two. You always want to see that shoulder kind of rotating around, get your hand trying to turn on that backstroke. And you flip and turn into the breaststroke, and
Hildebrand maintaining about a body length lead. Be curious to see who's the stronger in the freestyle.
Yep, and that's what this one's going to come down to. It's a nice lead there for Hildebrand, but very, very good turn in lane number 5 for Crandall. She made up a little bit of ground there. But we'll see. This is going to come down to that final 50 freestyle. Who's got the gas left in the tank? Who can finish this one off?
Right now, Hildebrand will have about a body length's lead as she makes the next to the last turn and into the freestyle. And as we talked about it, we'll see what Crandall's got. Usually you want this to be your strength for your anchor.
Oh, absolutely. You see Hildebrand kind of gliding through the water. Strong kicking in lane number 5 here from Crandall. Good solid turns here, but it looks like Hildebrand's going to edge this one out, and Crandall just not able to close that gap on the final leg.
Driup in third right now, making the turn for Maumee Valley. And hitting the wall first. Time of, 2:28.77.
That's about a full second drop for Kate Hildebrand, the senior from Anthony Wayne. And then a no time on Crandall, so coming in at that 2:34. That's a really solid swim for the junior coming in with no time.
And we have wrapped up this heat. Meet continues to move. As up next, it's going to be the boys' 200-yard individual medley.
Event 6, boys 200-yard individual medley.
Just one heat.
Heat 1 of 1.
This is going to be a full pool.
Full slate of kids here with Drew Boyd from Ayersville, the senior, in lane number 1. Lucas Bennett, a Tenora young fella who had a great swim when we were here last year. Sam Brose from Anthony Wayne, Trig Tingle from Defiance, Lincoln Woods of Lima Central Catholic, and James Harden from Anthony Wayne rounded out in lane number 6. And tell you what, Harden with the no time is looking really good and strong on this opening butterfly.
So about 3/4 of this heat are all within a half a body's length of each other.
This will be a strong swim. If you look at the seat times, Sam Brose from Anthony Wayne has about a 10-second edge over the number 2 seed in Trig Tingle, but they are swimming very, very solid, close to each other. Makes you kind of wonder, does somebody have that stroke that sets them apart? But James Harden, the senior at Anthony Wayne, lane number 6, no time, and he's holding his own now in second place down here in lane number 6.
Making the turn in lane 3, Brose, the sophomore, with so many underclassmen in this meet today. And he looks like he's really opening things up.
Yeah, the backstroke definitely, you can tell, is one of his favorite strokes. And we'll see how he does now coming out into the breaststroke. And will any of these other swimmers that are trailing right behind, are they going to be able to gain any ground here? Looks like Lincoln Woods and Lima Central Catholic, lane number 5, has got a strong breaststroke coming through.
He and Tingle are doing battle.
And again, James Harden down here in lane number 6, lost a little ground in that backstroke, but picking it up here in the breaststroke. So we'll see a little bit of a rough turn for Tingle in lane number 4 on that breaststroke.
Well, he lost some ground. Lost quite a bit.
Yep, he lost about a whole body length in lane number 4 there. So he's going to have some work to do to get back into this one. And Sam Brose from Anthony Wayne, that sophomore, looking really good. He's going to have a solid 15-meter lead coming out of the turn. And now it's down to the freestyle finish. Who's got what it takes to finish this one off?
I'm looking at Harden in lane 6, and he's, again, from our perspective, looks considerably taller, considerably longer. And I was going to think, is that going to help him in the individual? But look at Tingle all of a sudden kicking in the afterburners.
Yeah, he's absolutely finished it out, and that is a strong, strong finish from the freshman Trig Tingle.
Brose wins it in a time of 2:20.10.
So he added about a second and a half. But Tingle, how about that? That strong finish brings him in about 3 seconds under his seat time. So that's a solid, solid finish.
Absolutely.
You know, that's a young man there. If he could clean up some of that stuff in the middle, and that's kind of a vague statement, but we saw that turn on the breaststroke down here at this end. Not a great turn on the breaststroke, to be honest.
You figure a fraction here, a fraction there, but all of a sudden, especially in a 25-meter pool, how many seconds in 4 to 8 turns does that shave off your time?
Well, and he lost, if you remember that, he lost about 2 body lengths on that turn coming out on the second half of that breaststroke. So again, those starts and turns can really make a big difference.
Well, you ready for a blink of an eye?
Let's get her done.
In a 50-meter, this would just be 1 trip down. Instead, at a 25, it'll be 2. We got, 3 heats here? Looks like it.
Defiance, 3 swimmers here in heat number 1. Francesca and Mataris is a foreign exchange student, I believe. Mia Garina and Jasmine Rodriguez, all of Defiance.
So Bulldog, Bulldog, and Bulldog.
I believe one of the Bulldogs will take this heat.
That's a bold prediction. Way to go out on a limb.
What is it? They don't call him the best color man in the business. I guess baseball's a little ways off.
I was going to say, don't we wish it was that warm, though?
Touche.
Well, Garina looks like she is going to win by at least a body length here, maybe slightly more. This is just a down and back. This is basically a sprint.
And this is going to be good swims. Looks like for most of this pool, Garina about a second off there.
36.63.
Mataris right at her seat time, and then unfortunately Rodriguez added about a second and a half. But that's a solid swim by all 3 of those Defiance young ladies.
So heat number 2 is going to be a full pool. Avery Drennan from Anthony Wayne, a sophomore. Jiwen Kui, I believe is how you pronounce that, from Maumee Valley. We'll have Mia Leatherman from Van Buren. Gwen Hibbard from Ayersville, Mari Shannon from Maumee Valley, and Haley Wilson from Anthony Wayne.
Really strong start for for Hibbard there in lane number 4. A great start. She calculated the time on the horn, and we'll see if she can hold it through the turn. Great turn there, strong, and she's going to have about a half a body length off of Leatherman.
She's drifting just a bit, but she's got more than enough, and she's going to win this one going away.
It's going to be a really good swim from that young lady. She's going to drop
32.54.
She's going to drop a full second, and we talk about dropping a second or two. The last couple of events were 200s.
Yep.
That's a full second in a 50-yard event. That is a big drop in a 50-yard event.
Very strong effort from Gwen Hibbard. So it'll bring up heat number 3, also a full pool. Macalena Badia from Lima Central Catholic in lane 1. Addie Lauk in lane 2. Mallory Cyrick, a junior from Anthony Wayne in lane 3. Kiara Swallows, a sophomore from AW in lane 4. She'll be joined by a senior, Addie Zins from Anthony Wayne, and Ava Trent from Perry in lane 6.
So got a strong swim here, lanes 3 and 4 out to a good start. That's Cyrick and Salos from Anthony Wayne going neck and neck.
This ought to be interesting.
Now these are probably two young ladies that push each other in practice each and every day, and the junior Cyrick is going to get the better end of this one here in 27.
Woo, 27.78.
So actually a little ahead of her, or a little over her seed time, but still a very, very solid swim. Obviously, you want to try to hit that 30-second, get under that 30-second mark when you're talking about these 50s. Now you need to get probably down to that 27, 28 mark if you're talking about
boys 50-yard
qualifying out of sectionals for districts. You need to get under that 30-second mark for sure, and it's a good solid swim there.
So up next, event number 8, the boys 50-yard freestyle. We've got 3 heats here as well.
Now we've got 5 swimmers up, but I'm only showing
3 are
3.
listed. Well, here's where you make up a name or two and ask for forgiveness later.
So clearly we had some deck entries. I can tell you that Jonathan Facendo Swanson from Defiance is lane number 2. Colin Frick from LCC in lane number 3 is what we have anyway. Carson O'Brien from Eastwood in lane number 4. And
I'm not sure we've got in lane number 5. He would be the leader.
He is definitely the leader. And 26.90. That is going to be a huge swim.
Wow. From our mystery swimmer.
From our mystery swimmer in lane number 5. So a very, very good swim. And again, I'm not 100% sure who that was going to be, but
this does not match our heat sheet. So, ladies and gentlemen, our apologies. But to the first place winner, well done.
Yeah. And again, we, sometimes they do make some deck changes last second. I was able to get one before I did my senior walk in the 200, but.
Okay, so let's see if this one matches up with what we've got on our heat sheet. Because again, this should be a full pool, all 6 lanes.
Now, what does occasionally happen is you get some kids that potentially got the wrong heat, or they maybe swam in the wrong spot. Now, as a coach, you'll say, listen, you're in high school. You should know better by now.
Yep.
But it does happen from time to time.
Well, and again, this is, I don't want to say gamesmanship, but I've known a swimmer or two that would basically try and fudge, if you will, into a second heat to get a better lane assignment.
Sure.
Don't want to be on the ends. You prefer to be in the center 3 lanes.
Try to be in the center lanes. So it looks like we might have a scratch here in lane number 2. But lane number 1, Callan Foreman from Ayersville. Lane 3, James Harden, who we saw in that IM earlier, senior from Anthony Wayne. Camden Lingle from Anthony Wayne. Javier Marino from Defiance, and Austin Craig of LCC. I believe
Lingle right now looks to be in the lead. Another 27-17. Well, we're seeing the Jackrabbits here in the 50-meter free.
A couple of PRs in that event, but we'll see. We got some really good times here for the boys in this heat number 3. We got some seat times under at the 25 and even into the 24 mark, which again, when you get into that sectional and district time, you want to try and hit those low 20s if you want to have an opportunity to make your way moving on.
We do have a local swimmer in this heat, lane number 2 from Ayersville, Dylan Tressler. But again, no Levi Carrier today as he's sick, unable to perform. And don't we have a Defiance Bulldog? Is this Finn Tingle in lane number 6?
Yep, we got Finn Tingle in lane number 6. Nice strong swim there. Ebert from Lakota in lane number 4 is flying through the pool.
And he's going to touch first. 24.50.
So that's a solid 0.2 of a second off of his seat time. Again, at a 50, that's a nice solid drop for that young man, Dylan Tressler.
By far and away crushes every other time from the other previous 2 heats.
There will now be a 9-minute, 48-second break.
Well, you heard that. They are not in a sport that prides itself on time, 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Why not?
So traditionally, we've reached events number 9 and 10, which would be the diving events.
Yep.
There are no divers, so we get a break.
We get a break. They pulled that springboard back before the meet started. So we should probably take a break, right?
Sounds like a great idea.
Let's do that. Let's go ahead and hear from some of our underwriters helping make today's broadcast a possibility. We're going to take this, I'm assuming they're still our sponsor for breaks, Mark Motes Ford. Serving the area since 1916. Check them out online or in person, Mark Motes Ford. We're back after this on DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Motes Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Motes Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmotesford.com. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Be a nurse. And we welcome you back. Technically, does this just have a name other than the YMCA? Defiance YMCA pool?
Yeah. Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Defiance area YMCA.
We got to give it a name. What would be a good name for it?
Wow.
Let's think on that one.
We will.
The Defiance YMCA pool. Right.
Yeah.
Brent Palvin alongside Josh Bush.
I guess you would call it technically a natatorium.
Well, I thought about that, but it's would have the name natatorium to it, though, if it were technically a natatorium, right? So, I mean, that's what most pools are called. And you got to give them somewhat a nickname. I notice most of the gyms in this area have a nickname, so we got to work on the pool. What do you think?
We'll figure it out.
Let's work on it.
I've been around this pool for so long. I've called it a lot of things, but
most of it positive, right? Fantastic.
It's always 100 degrees in here, and it is what it is.
You like that phrase. Well, it is what it is. We are halfway through tonight's meet as Defiance is welcoming Anthony Wayne, Ayersville, and Lima Central Catholic. Of course, we've got some other schools that are peppered throughout this that are swimming as part of an attachment, if you will, to Nora. Obviously, Patrick Henry, Van Buren. I'm trying to think who else.
Lakota.
Yes, absolutely, Lakota. So everybody getting a chance to get into the pool. I look down here, and the first thought that just pops into mind is the Opal, because you just see basically the warm-up or the what do you call it, the wading pool? I hate calling it the kiddie pool.
They call it the therapy pool.
The therapy pool. It's a good one
That's
for
what
it.
It's called here.
Of course, 25 meters over here, and it just reminds me of an Opal. So I don't know. That sounds classy enough. Maybe we can make
with it.
Can make that stand.
Welcome back to the Opal.
Yes. My dad used to drive one of those, 76. Those things were small. Anyway, that four-wheel drive trip down memory lane is brought to you by us. What has impressed you the most that you've seen here so far? Obviously, we got some big schools. We've got some of the middle-sized schools, and then obviously some of the smaller schools here. But what I'm impressed with is the amount of underclassmen that we've seen for all the programs here and how high the level of performance has been.
Well, you look at size of school in a competition like this, not always the biggest factor in, obviously your pool of athletes bigger. But it comes down to how hard does that individual want to work? Yeah. Are they in the pool extra? Are they doing some conditioning and some dry land training outside of just getting their laps in? Are they working on technique? I mean, there's so many pieces of the puzzle that you have to put together as a swimmer. It's not just about hitting the water and getting through. There's fine-tuning that technique. Are you working on starts and turns after practice? Are you hitting dry land? Are you doing some conditioning? All of those things. Are you talking to your coach about, hey, did I breathe too much? There's a coach that has been around here before that will tell you breathing is overrated and not necessary. So, it's those little things, I took a breath out of a flip turn. Swimmers sometimes don't understand or they don't know that they did it. Mm-hmm. They just, they came out of their flip turn. I need a breath. Hold it until you get a stroke in and then take that. Again, it's those little things. And I think you're seeing this here. Some of these underclassmen, that's sophomore. It seems like we're talking about sophomores a lot here today.
Quite a few.
From all of these schools. That's a great thing for these programs when you look down the road 2-3 years from now.
One of the things I was always taught to watch for, too, is the rise or the angle coming out of a turn when you're going through your last dolphin kick. If you take too sharp of an angle, you can obviously lose a lot of your momentum. All of a sudden, now the friction kicks in. You have to rebuild that. It's just stuff that you might not notice, especially if a swimmer's underwater.
Yeah.
Tough to tell. But I've seen a couple of those where the angles maybe were just a little bit sharper than some of the coaches would have cared for. In a sport where tenths, hundredths, sometimes even thousandths of a second makes a difference, there's where a race can be won or lost.
Yeah, and you see that on the turns. You see that on a start. I dove too deep in the pool, Coach.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get my start off at that angle that I wanted. It's always out, not up. I mean, you know, and so, again, the athletes that are putting in that extra time, the athletes that are focusing on the little things, those little details, like you said, tenths, 100ths of a second. And, you know, when you get into the sectionals and you get into districts, I think at sectionals last year, I think we had 3 swim-offs. Okay? That's, you know, again, doesn't always happen that way, but, I mean, you're talking 3 events where swimmers were dead heat and have to come back at the end of the meet and swim it again.
Punish yourself again.
Yeah. So, again, could you have done something a little bit better in that first swim to knock off 100th of a second?
Our meet resumes with the girls' 100-yard butterfly. A couple of Anthony Wayne performers, a senior, Marina Humphrey, and a freshman, Macy Gottschalk, along with Lima Central Catholic's Malena Badia.
Looks like the 2 young ladies from Anthony Wayne pretty much neck and neck here. The senior Humphrey in lane 3, Gottschalk in just a freshman in lane number 4, giving her a run for her money.
Slight lead.
Actually taking a little bit of a lead here in this second 50. We'll see what happens when they hit the wall here. 2-hand touch.
And again, you saw the smoother turn and just segue there by the freshman. Now I'm looking at the senior, though, and maybe a bit more muscular, a bit more time in the weight room, making up the difference.
Yeah, and, you know, and this is something that, Brent, you know, we can talk about in a lot of different sports, right? 14 to 18. 15 to 18-year-olds. There's just some developmental differences there physically, and you could see that right there. A great swim there, Marina Humphrey from Anthony Wayne. She dropped 4 seconds.
That's just unheard of. At 1:12.89, you heard my initial reaction. That isn't just a lot of time. That's like light years.
And Macy Gottschalk, the freshman, took 2 seconds off and got beat by 3 seconds.
Yeah. Very impressive performance by both those 2 Anthony Wayne generals.
So great swim there, and then Malena Badia finishing out
Event
here.
12,
Going to add a little bit of time on her butterfly.
Well, they aren't wasting any time in between events here. Up next, the boys' 100-yard butterfly, and again, a full pool. Locally, Louis Zimmerman, a freshman from Ayersville in lane 2. And then you figure your best times are going to be lane 3 and 4. Again, Maumee Valley's Freddie Mueller, a junior, and Max Gottschalk, a junior from Anthony Wayne. Both sub 1 minute.
Andrew Baldoff in lane number 5 from LCC had a great start, as did Eric Sander of Eastwood down here in lane number 6. This is going to be a tight race. Looks like Gottschalk in lane number 4 is flying out of that turn.
Tremendous turn.
And we'll see where they come in on this first 50. Looks like he's going to hit at about 27, so that first 50 coming in at 27. It's a good start for this group here of boys, with Gottschalk leading the way.
And his time coming into this, 58.93. Man, is he a powerful-looking swimmer.
Good turn there, out of the water, off the dolphin kick, keeping his head down, arms extended, pulling through. He's going to be getting close to a PR here. He's going to have to push to beat it. 56, 57. He's going to come in about a second under that seed time at 50. So that's a solid swim.
Wow.
Freddie Mueller of Anthony Wayne right on his tails, as was Eric Sander of Eastwood down here in lane number 6. No time swim, no time coming in. Swims that in under 59. That's a good solid first time for Eric Sander from Eastwood.
Well, you ready for a dead sprint? How about the 100-yard freestyle? I guess if there's anything that's faster, it'd be the 50-yard, but this is still going to be basically just like a sprint around the track.
And we'll see what these first group of young ladies will do here. And if you come to a youth meet, Brent, you can find some 8-unders that swim 25 yards. It's just one time down the pool.
Well, you got to work your way up to it, right?
So we got a very full pool here. Even a swimmer in lane number 6 that I don't think we anticipated. Looks like an LCC swimsuit in lane number 6. But
now making the turn, lanes 3 and 4. That would be Addie Zins from Anthony Wayne and Bryn Lust from Patrick Henry. But look at this, in lane number 2, Halen Smith from Defiance is sticking her nose in there.
Yeah, freshman that out to swim this year and really starting to try to build on some of the things early on in this year. We'll see now as they head into that second 50. They hit the first 50 in about 34. And this is where some of that conditioning goes, and you can see Halen Smith in lane number 2 has made up some ground on Addie Zins and Bren Lust both, as Lust will come out of the turn in first, but what do they have left? This is a sprint in this last 25. And you can see Bren Lust starting to slow down here.
This is interesting. Look at Smith.
Halen Smith, does she have enough left to get to the wall
This
first?
is close, and she's going to finish a very close second.
It's a nice, solid swim. 2.5 seconds off for Halen Smith, the Defiance, to come in second in that heat. Beating out Addie Zins and just behind Bren Lust, who knocked off about 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds. That's a nice, solid swim in heat number 1, and going to be fun to watch heat number 2.
Yep. And another full pool. Jewen Kui from Maumee Valley. It's technically Maumee Valley Country Day, but I'm glad they just listed it as Maumee Valley. Addie Jaffe, a junior teammate from Maumee Valley. Then a trio of Anthony Wayne swimmers, Kate Hildebrand, Brooklyn Williams, and Tess Bublik. And then from Lima Central Catholic in lane 6, Emma Skinner.
So I'm kind of wondering if Miss Skinner wasn't the LCC swimmer we saw in
heat
number 2, because
this lane's empty.
It is empty, and she's kind of wandering off.
Heat 2.
Emma Skinner, you little rascal. Trying to deke us out swimming in the first heat. It's okay.
It's all right. We caught you. It was a good swim. She dropped about 4 seconds on that swim. So
that was a really competitive heat. Waiting for the signal, and they're in the pool.
Strong start in lane number 3 for Kate Hildebrand of Anthony Wayne, and you can see that senior getting that first lead. But I'll tell you what, Brooklyn Williams, the freshman, hot on her trail.
Yep. Anthony Wayne is just loaded. And I don't just mean numbers-wise, but quality underclassmen. One right after another.
This is a very strong school that, as we've seen through the last couple of years, especially last 5 years probably, have really exerted themselves in a lot of athletic competitions across the board, boys and girls sports. They've really been extremely competitive in a lot of different arenas. It's going to be 57.72 for Kate Hildebrand. That's going to be right about at her seat time. Nothing too crazy there, but another good, solid swim here for these young ladies.
Number 1. And this would be Jewen Kui from Maumee Valley Country Day. And she touches. Well, apparently
it's a soft touch.
I was going to say.
So
didn't register. There we go. 127.15.
So you got a.
Event 14, boys 100-yard freestyle.
Sometimes swimmers don't hit the pad as strong as they'd like, so then it takes a minute for the computer system to catch the backup plunger. Always thought that was an interesting name to call them plungers.
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, for those that are unfamiliar with it, that's technically the proper term. So in lane number 2, we've only got 3 swimmers in the boys 100-yard freestyle. Jonathan Facundo, Swanson from Defiance. Levi Carrier is
A scratch.
not going today. We've got Colin Frick from Lima Central Catholic. And do we have a mystery swimmer? We've got a third.
We've got another mystery swimmer here in lane number.
Is this an
5.
Eastwood swimmer?
Looks like it might be. They're pulling some tricks on us today.
Apparently.
Coach Smolik sent the heat sheet at around noon today.
Yep. Turn being made. So we've got another mystery swimmer from Eastwood.
In lane number 5.
Yep. We'll just call him Jambalaya Jenkins for the time being.
He's giving a pretty good chase to Colin Frick
He
of
is.
Central Catholic in lane number 4.
Actually, this is a very competitive for just 3 swimmers. And right now making the turn with, look at this. We're almost dead even coming out of that turn.
Well, and it was a rough turn for Colin Frick, and you could kind of see him lose his stature a little bit, and I think that's going to cost him here in this final 25.
His bottom half is weighted, you can tell. Legs just aren't there.
And our mystery swimmer with a time of 1:18.
Yep.
So congratulations to that young man, whoever you are. We don't know who you are, but
you're a winner.
You're a winner.
Absolutely.
Heat 2.
All right, Heat 2. We should have a swimmer in every lane. Does it look like we will?
I think Mason Dota was in lane 6. He was a scratch for
Yes.
Ayersville today, so
unable to go. He was sick. Actually, it was Levi Carrier that was sick. Excuse me. Dota.
Yep. With the knee.
Just had a gimpy knee.
It's got A.J. O'Brien from Eastwood in lane 1, Nate Barash from Anthony Wayne in lane 2, Jarrett Jenkins in lane 3 from Anthony Wayne, Brennan Jenkins from Anthony Wayne in lane 4, and Braden Miller from Elmwood in lane number 5. So I'm going to assume that either brothers or cousins, Jarrett and Brennan Jenkins,
Yep.
a senior and a sophomore, and the senior has the lead right now. The first 50 coming in at just under 25. Be off pace a little bit.
I was going to say the senior's starting to pull away here.
And again, you see.
Ooh, he turned just a little early. He didn't get a good push.
But
he being the younger Jenkins.
Very lengthy is Jarrett Jenkins, that senior from Anthony Wayne. He's going to come in. Not his best swim here in this one. 47.83 was his seat time. He comes in at about 51.65. So added a little bit of time here, but I think, again, just a little off on a couple turns there.
Yep. Well, we saw it in the final turn for the young sophomore there. Broke just a little early and did not get a strong turn. Makes a difference.
Girls 500-yard freestyle.
500 yards. You ready for some endurance?
20 laps.
This
makes
is
me
makes your legs burn just thinking about it.
Yeah, you can say that.
Well, Anthony Wayne is going to be well represented in this heat. Haley Wilson in lane 2, Marina Humphrey in lane 3, a sophomore and a senior. Lanes 5 and 6, 2 more generals. Sophia Schultz, a sophomore, and sophomore Avery Drennan. The non-Anthony Wayne swimmers will be Ava Bushline from Van Buren in lane 1, and Alyssa Coble from Ayersville, the junior, in lane 4. Get comfy. Maybe grab something. Yeah, grab something refreshing from the refrigerator.
And we'll be here for a minute.
And just admire the endurance.
Yeah, you know, and again, when you talk about not just the endurance, but there's so much strategy that goes into swimming this 500 the right way. You know, you want to get yourself established in the first 100, and then you got to settle into a pace.
Yep.
And, you know, one of the things that's going to be struggling here is you see Humphrey from Anthony Wayne in lane number 3. She has a 3/4 of a lead. So she's not going to have anybody in the lane next to her to pace off of, which is going to be a little bit tough for her. So she's got to be thinking in her head, you know, how do you, am I on pace? Hopefully she's got a coach that's kind of giving her a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing. Some coaches will work a system with the counters on the far end of the pool. You may see, in fact, when my daughter was swimming for Nicole previously, it was if the plunger, or excuse me, if the indicator is going up and down, you're going too slow. If it's going side to side, you're fine.
You're fine?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as too fast?
Yeah.
Busting yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing was if it was side to side, it was like, listen, you're okay. Let's not overdo it here. So, some coaches use those lap indicators, or they're on the sides and hoping that a swimmer can see them through the goggles and the water and everything else.
And I'm seeing right now most of those indicators moving up and down, as if to say, as you mentioned, Josh, pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a little deceiving, though. Some kids just get down there and they think they need to
just start waving it no matter
what.
what.
To start waving around so you can see it. But again, every coach has their own little system of, how do we go about communicating with the swimmer. I mean, that's obviously a huge thing. You don't have a microphone or a comm system into a helmet of a quarterback per se, or a coach standing on the sideline in a basketball court that can holler out the plays and run this or run that. So
hey, with technology, somebody's bound to develop a waterproof earpiece at some point in time, right?
Yeah, I would think that there would be at some time coming. We're actually trying to figure out if we could get a underwater housing for one of our cameras for this event today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's
not to be?
No, no, it didn't. It may be at some point down the line, but
got to lay a track down like the Olympics, right, where you can just basically remotely move it from one end to the other.
I think it'd be kind of cool to do that, but so.
In a future budget, maybe. Tell you what, Marina Humphrey, I believe, has lapped at least one, potentially two other swimmers right now.
Yeah, and we can't necessarily see the counters here, but it looks like Kobel's on 9, and yeah, she's on 11. So she's a solid lap ahead of Kobel in lane number 4, and
so just a little over halfway through the 500 right now for Humphrey. But here's the question: how much do you save in the tank to still want to finish strong?
Well, and that's the key, is you want that solid pace through the middle few hundred, because you've got to have something at the end, and that's where you can make up some ground or finish that strong. You don't want to leave anything out there, that's for sure. We'll see here in a couple of laps. We'll get referee Mark Hall will be ringing the bell for, I would imagine, Humphrey. I don't think anybody's going to catch her at this.
That was lap 13 for Humphrey. When you think about distance, it's so easy to think about the jackrabbit, so to speak. But you think about what it takes to not only swim this, but then get the recovery time, whether you've swum 1 or 2 events prior to this. This has got to be it, though, if you are a distance swimmer, right? Recovery time, this has got to be your last event, does it not, if you're going to be swimming in this one?
Well, or you hope that your coach is nice enough to schedule you a little bit later on in the end. But
way later.
We'll probably
not everybody's Missy Franklin.
We'll probably see a couple of these young ladies maybe in the breaststroke, which is towards the end. Maybe, and you know what, you might see them in a freestyle relay where they're only going to have a 50. But I'll tell you what, Humphrey right now, she's on.
It's her world and everybody's living in it.
Yeah, she's on her 8th 50 set, and she just swam that at 38:22. So I don't know what her 50 time is normally, but 38:22 this far in, that is a very, very good pace. We're interested to see if she's going to pick this up here in the last 200.
Better turn than her last one, but again, it's so easy. Your legs are feeling like lead pipes at this point.
Yeah, and you can see Humphrey's got a little more pace in her arms, but her legs have not been moving much here. So
no.
See if there goes the bell.
The bell lap.
So 38:43. So she dropped about a 1/10 of a second from the last 50. That's a really, really good pace to be able to keep up when you're talking about being 400 yards into this 500 yards.
Well, we'll see what she's got left in the tank.
Final 25 here.
Well, her time coming into this one was 6:08:21. And
probably not going to get under that.
I don't think so. She's going to be just a little over it. 6:10:26, but still solid effort.
Yeah, that's a great swim. You talk about goals for these swimmers. Obviously, in this, it's not dropping a few seconds. You want to drop some time. Obviously, I would imagine one of her goals from her coach is probably hit that 6-minute mark. So she's going to have a little work to do there, but she kept her normal pace, finished that really strong, and that's a good swim for that young lady.
So the race for second has been taken care of as Ava Bushline from Van Buren catching her breath.
Now the scoreboard is showing that she
No
won,
way. No. We know that's to be incorrect.
Yes. So I believe they might have hit.
If it were only that easy, right? Just shave a few seconds off.
Looks like Alyssa Coble is going to be coming into her final 25 here for Ayersville in lane number 4.
Lane 2, Haley Wilson from Anthony Wayne stopped for at least a second or two. Something was wrong with her cap. Maybe she had water in her ear. And Coble is going to finish up strong.
And she's going to be well under her seed time, coming in at 7:54.36, and she's at 7:38.
Wow.
So
crushed it.
Yeah. So this is, again, you get in these longer distance swims, and those are the kind of time drops that a pace can help with. Or, are we working on speeding up those middle, the pace in the middle couple hundred, or are we, starting and ending stronger? Maybe it's a combination of both.
And then you take a look at the last competitor in the pool, and this is the sophomore, Haley Wilson from Anthony Wayne. And Josh, understandably so, it's basically waist up right now. Very little left in those legs.
And again, just a sophomore, you can imagine she comes in with no seed time, so her first meet swimming this event. So how much do you practice it? Hopefully enough to feel confident in doing it in a meet. And, for her first time in a meet, she's going to come in about 8.5 minutes. And that is going to be it for her. So I think
she had one more lap, apparently. They've stopped her time at 8:36.48. But is she finished, or does she have one more lap to go? I'm looking at Anthony Wayne's coaches. And tell you what, though.
The officials have not stopped her. So
way to go, young lady. Seriously.
We could be off on the scoreboard, apparently. Yeah, sometimes it happens. You have to track every touch.
Yep.
And now, according to her lane spotter, she still had 2 more to go. So that was only 17, perhaps.
Their hands timing her now on deck. I saw the coach, and I think that's going to be it.
So yeah, once you get that final touch in there, you're going to have to. You can't undo the final touch. So
event 16, boys, 500.
Missed a touch at the scorer's table, but
1 of 1.
She finishes nonetheless.
Absolutely, tip of the cap.
Got a full pool of boys here.
Yes, we do. Lucas Bennett from Tenora will be in lane 1. Freddie Mueller from Maumee Valley Country Day in lane 2. A.J. O'Brien from Eastwood in lane 3. Defiance's representative, Finn Tingle, the freshman in lane 4. From Lima Central Catholic, lane 5, we'll see Austin Craig competing. And from Ayersville, Dylan Tressler in lane 6.
Mueller, O'Brien, Tingle, and Tressler all with a very, very solid start to this first 50. They're going to hit this first 50 in about 29, and that is a very, very solid pace to start this one off. Now, Dylan Tressler in Ayersville, no seed time coming into this, but he's no stranger to the pool and definitely no stranger to probably this event. Keeping pace there with O'Brien, Mueller, and Tingle in the middle of the pool.
Lucas and Austin, the last 2 to make the turn on this lap.
You see there, you can see that pace in the second 50 up to about 32 seconds. So strong start there as you see Mueller and O'Brien, lanes 2 and 3, pulling away from Tingle in lane number 4 just a little bit.
Long way to go. 500. And I don't mean the Indy.
Well, and you talk about some of these events that kids swim, and this is not one of them you get a lot of volunteers for typically. But there are kids that, there are swimmers that, will tell you they prefer distance over sprinting. And there's some that'll tell you they have no business doing any kind of distance. They would rather sprint. And, to each one of those kids, it becomes that personal preference on what suits their swimming style a little bit better.
All right, now we have a really good nip and tuck battle going on. Lane 2, Mueller from Maumee Valley Country Day and O'Brien from Eastwood. Taking a look, and right now it looks like both gentlemen's spotters were telling them to pick up the pace a little bit.
Yep. And you can see O'Brien coming out of there in lane number 3. But just, I say that as Mueller kind of picks up a little bit towards the end of that 25. So they're halfway home here. This is lap 10. So, and again, keeping up a 33 pace. That's they first 50 was 28. They've dropped off to about a 33. So pacing right now, halfway through this 500. You see Finn Tingles getting some motion from his lane spotter, telling him to pick up the pace a little bit.
And you see the top lane there, Lucas Bennett, who I believe is a lap down right now from Tenora.
Yep. He's coming in on 11, and it looks like O'Brien and Mueller are coming in on 13.
Boy, these two guys have just been great pace setters for each other, haven't they?
Yeah, and when you're out in front like this, it's one thing, and you might see Lucas Bennett there in lane number 1. He may pick up a little bit from these two in lane 2 and 3, but this is going to be tough. This is going to come down to who has better endurance management right now.
Yep.
Who has maintained the pace that they can maintain while giving themselves the opportunity to close this out in the final 100 yards. And it looks like now O'Brien is starting to pull away a little bit from Mueller.
About a half a body length. Again, this is where the mental kicks in. I know a couple weeks ago when we were at the Border Wars, Ray was talking about your mind staying strong versus your body, and I think you can make an appropriate comparison here in the pool. Will your body follow your mind? Will your mind lead your body?
Oh, and you've been swimming hard for 4.5 minutes. You've still got another 2 minutes to go, minute and a half to go. As we're going to get a bell here from referee Mark Hall as these two get down to the end of the pool.
O'Brien almost the better part now of a body length lead. And as you heard Josh mention, they've hit the bell lap.
So we'll see if Mueller from Maumee Valley Country Day has anything here to sprint out this final 50. But it looks like O'Brien, obviously the senior, he knows what that pace means to him.
Hey, well, look at Mueller here, though. He's kicking in what he's got left. Is it going to be enough? Does he have a little Craig Lezak in him?
He's trying to close that gap a little bit, but if you look at O'Brien in lane number 3, those legs are still pretty strong.
He saved a lot.
Yep, and he knew this isn't his first rodeo at that 500.
Well, that was a well-run race, or in this case, swam race by both those two individuals.
He come in at about 5.5 minutes for O'Brien. He's going to be a little bit upset with himself. He added about 12 seconds on that swim, but that's a solid time, especially if you look at Mueller came in with no time. And then Finn Tingle, a little bit above his seat time in lane number 4, will come in third. And anytime you can swim 500 yards in under 6 minutes.
Could you do it if survival depended on it?
Perspective here, that's up and down a football field 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long way.
I don't know that I could walk that, much less swim it.
In 5.5 minutes?
Nah.
Yeah.
a brisk walk.
One more lap here, it looks like, for Austin Craig of Lima Central Catholic. Lucas Bennett finished over there for Tenora.
Yep.
Just a few seconds off of his seed time, finishing at 6:31. So nice solid swim for that young man.
Lap 19, the final turn, and this is what you call respect for your sport. You're the last one in the pool, and you know it, and you're still going to finish.
And you can hear his teammates hollering for him, telling him to finish, and he's still kicking those legs a little bit. He's going to set a PR here. It looks like he's close. Yeah, he's dropped about a second.
All right, good on him.
Half a second or so to a second that he dropped, so you know what? Better than yourself the last time you were out.
Absolutely.
Event 17.
So they don't have any rest for the weary. Event number 17 is the girls' 200-yard freestyle relay. Anthony Wayne has a couple of teams. Defiance will field one. Actually, Anthony Wayne looks like they have three. And Lima Central Catholic also participating in this heat. This is one of the relays that your daughter Jordan Bush said she wanted. Did she cherry pick this one, or did the coach pick them for her?
Well, I think she, the girls, obviously lacking a few numbers this year, so they haven't done a ton of relays. So her teammates, she said she wanted to have the opportunity for her teammates to do some relays, and so she jumped in on the medley relay and on this 200 freestyle relay. So being a team, this is that team sport within the individual sport. Team sport.
Anthony, yes, exactly. Pulling back the layers of the onion. Anthony Wayne's best relay is in lane number 3, and what a strong start for Kate Hildebrand.
That's a 26:57 split on that first 50, and wow.
And another strong swimmer, Halen Smith, on the second leg.
It's Tess Bublik, sorry.
Oh, excuse me. I was looking at the wrong
Second
Anthony
swim.
Wayne relay, excuse me.
Yeah, just a very, very strong swim from these three. Hey, you look at Marina Humphrey. She just came off that finish in winning the 500. Is going to swim next. She's in the
Why
pool
not?
Now. She's in the pool now for Anthony Wayne. So there's the answer to your question. Do you get much rest?
No.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Well, when you got a lead that's basically a pool length, almost a pool length, not to say that you can coast, but you're not feeling any pressure here either, I don't think.
Well, this has been a good swim for these first three legs, and then you got a freshman in Brooklyn Williams who's going to anchor this relay. I'm interested to see just what this young lady has to offer, because you want this to be your strong swim here to finish off, and we'll see what this young lady can do into the pool quickly, and she is flying down the pool.
Boy, is she ever.
Lima Central Catholic, looks like they're about to come to the wall in lane number 5, as is Defiance. Nia Garina will give way to Jordan Bush, who'll swim the final leg. Who's been instructed by her doctor and her father to not overdo it.
3/4. Anthony Wayne's A-listers finish in sub-2, 156.95.
And that is a really, really good swim. You know, you look at their seed time, 147. Now, again, when you look at relay times, it goes by relay. You can switch out those swimmers.
Sure.
So, you know, if you had a kid that was sick, or maybe somebody's doing this leg and not that leg. So interesting to see, but that is a really, really good swim. And I tell you what, to have a freshman anchoring that A relay, she closed that out really, really well.
Yep. So now the boys get to try their hand at it. 200-yard freestyle. Defiance will be in lane 2.
Go ahead.
We've got Jonathan Facundo Swanson, Javier Moreno, Trig Tingle, and Finn Tingle And Anthony Wayne only fielding 2 teams instead of 3 like the ladies did.
Ayersville with a group in lane number 4. Not sure who was in for Mason in the relay, but Dylan Tressler, Louis Zimmerman. Mason was scheduled for the 3rd leg, and then Kellen Foreman anchoring that.
Let's see here. I'm going to take a guess, an educated guess. Nope, forget it. I can't because I see him already for the 3rd leg. So
it looks like they're going to move up Drew Boyd into leg 3 to fill in that spot for Ayersville. Is that right?
Yes, I think so.
It's Drew Boyd in the water now for Ayersville.
Oh, goodness.
Another strong swim in Anthony Wayne in lane number 3. Going to hit that final leg at 1:16, so he'll be flirting with a PR for this team.
Should be Logan Bublik swimming the anchor.
Trig Tingle in the water in lane number 2 for Defiance right now as they're looking to close this 200 freestyle relay. Giving way to brother Finn. So 1:38.74 for the Anthony Wayne squad. That's, again, a little above their seat time, but you never know who was in that
swimming that day.
Yeah, who was in that 1:31. Finn Tingle finishing off for Defiance. They're going to come in at just under 2 minutes. And Ayersville will finish with Callan Foreman, just over 2 minutes.
So the 200 boys freestyle. And now in the books. How about a little backstroke?
Event 19, girls 100-yard
Here we go.
backstroke.
It's
Heat
up
1
next.
of 2.
I was going to mention what I was saying earlier when you flipped the page. I said, well, we're already on page number 3. So meet referee Mark Hall.
Keeping things moving.
Moving along at a nice pace. I told him 90 minutes earlier, so he's a little behind. But
uh-oh. Well, everybody starts in the water, obviously, with this stroke. This is heat 1 of 2. And all 6 lanes, I believe, yes, are filled. Lanes 4 and 5, a couple of local swimmers, freshman Danny Coble from Ayersville. It's lane 4, lane 5, Jasmine Rodriguez from Defiance. Keep an eye on lane 3, though, the sophomore, Kiara Swallows from Anthony Wayne. And as I say that, she's got almost a full body's length lead as she comes to the turn.
It's a really good turn for her. Went a little bit deep on that turn, but still a very solid start for Salos in lane number 3. And the freshman Coble trying to keep pace.
Now second, but probably what? At least a body length, maybe a body length and a half. She's drifting just a bit.
Mia Leatherman from Van Buren in lane 6. No time, but swimming strong here, trying to keep pace with Coble in lane number 4. You see there, that was a little bit better turn in lane 3 there from Salos, but she gets really deep. And then there you were talking about angles there as Danny Coble came out in lane number 4, and you could see her shoot straight up to the top.
Yep.
So you got Salos in lane 3 that's scooting with the bottom of the pool, and Coble in lane 4 who shot herself right to the top. You'd kind of like to see a mixture of those two, but there's going to be good swims from both these young ladies.
Yep. Almost 5 seconds shaved off her time for Salos, and almost 2 seconds for Coble.
Looks like we got PRs in just about every lane. Jasmine Rodriguez from Defiance taking off a second and a half, 2 seconds. Lane number 1, Mari Shannon from Maumee Valley Country Day.
Wow.
15 seconds off of that.
That's just solid all the way around. PRs for everybody. You ever set a PR in anything?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Dare I ask?
I'd fit in well in Germany.
I got an idea, but I'll draw the curtain of charity on that topic.
That was one of the things, as my kids were growing up, and we talked about things as parents and booster groups for the youth swim team. We came up with the idea of a PR board, and our parent group came together and said, we're going to put together some prizes and different things, and every time a kid would get a PR at a swim meet, they get to put a sticker up with the team on the next practice, and then every so often you got to a certain point, you got a prize from the parent group. So,
really?
Putting that value on, you don't have to win every single event that you're out here, but constantly improve, constantly do better, and you'll get to those victories.
You're competing against yourself. Even the best will tell you that.
Well, the best in this event right now is in lane number 3, Mallory Sirik. We've called her name a couple of times throughout the afternoon here, I guess evening at this point, but from Anthony Wayne has got a solid lead over her teammate, Brooklyn Williams.
Roughly half the pool.
Looks like she's going to come in with a PR here, too. She came in at 107, and she's going to finish at 105.43. So about 2 seconds, just shy of 2 seconds off for Mallory Sirik of Anthony Wayne. That's a really good swim in this 100-yard backstroke.
So that's heat 2. Up next, event number 20, the boys 100-yard backstroke. We've got a couple of Ayersville, swimmers.
20,
pair of
boys,
underclassmen.
100-yard backstroke.
Kaylin Foreman in lane number 2, and a freshman, Dylan Shook, in lane number 6. And of course, in the middle, pair of Anthony Wayne generals, Seth Gregory and Camden Lingle. Caleb Branham from Patrick Henry will be in lane number 1. At least he's scheduled to be in lane 1. I don't see a body over there.
Yeah, I don't see him either. I thought we called his name earlier, so he might be a deck scratch going into this event. We'll see.
Okay.
We're going to go without him. So really you can see the difference here.
Yeah.
Those two Anthony Wayne, that underwater streamline on your back, they both hit about a quarter of the pool. Well, you see the Ayersville kids, and again, nothing against them, but you got to work on this stuff, is you're going to get so much more underwater where you see coming even out of these turns from the young men from Ayersville. They've got to get that underline streamline.
Yep.
You're allowed to go to the 10-meter mark, which is the red dot on the other side of the pool. So you can go a long way, but not many kids can get that far. But again, less resistance. You're able to get yourself through the water a little quicker. But again, it takes a lot, and you can see these are really good turns out of these Anthony Wayne youngsters here, keeping themselves underwater.
Whoops.
Just as I say that, Seth Gregory had a little bit of I got to get some air.
A little bit of a hiccup. Yep. Looks like he has regrouped, though, and still maintains his lead.
He's going to take this heat here. The time of 1:12.95. That's about a second off, a little over a second off of his time. But again, you got a young freshman and a young sophomore from Ayersville. Again, they're still trying to get themselves, and I know Coach English is going to go, hey, boys, look at this. We got to work on these little things. These turns, these starts will, again, so important to dropping that time.
So this heat is now in the books. Heat 2. Trig Tingle from Defiance will be in lane 1. Nate Barish from Anthony Wayne in lane 2. Eric Sander, Eastwood, and a senior in the middle of the pool. Andrew Baldoff, a junior from Lima Central Catholic. Logan Bublik from Anthony Wayne, and Bennett Ebert, a sophomore from Lakota.
I appreciate the O. The extra O. Sophomore.
Little Keith Jackson there for you.
Really, really good starts from every single lane here, and you see almost to that 10-meter mark in lane number 3, Eric Sander, that senior from Eastwood. You can tell he's been a veteran to this, and you see him even on that turn off that first 50, he's going to hit about halfway down the pool.
He knows where he's at. Yep.
And that's, such a huge advantage. And we'll see how he gets here in the 75. How much distance can he get with that underwater? But again, he's hitting clear out towards the middle of the pool. Yeah. That is a very, very good backstroke streamline underneath the water for Eric Sander. And I'll tell you, he comes in here with a seat time of 57.88. That's why right there he's getting such a huge advantage by keeping himself under the water.
You just saw him explode there. I mean, there are dolphin kicks, and then there are dolphin kicks. And he looks incredibly strong right now.
He's going to add a little bit of a time here to his PR, but I tell you what, he's got all the pieces of the puzzle for this backstroke.
Yeah.
He's got a very, very good start, underwater streamline. He's coming out, he's kicking strong. He's using that streamline on all of his turns, and you see there, he finishes as the only one out of these 6 swimmers in this heat to break a minute flat.
Yep.
Event 21.
And that's a really, really good strong swim there from Eric Sander.
1 of 2.
So the first of 2 heats coming up as we segue to the girls' 100-yard breaststroke. Anthony Wayne with 4 swimmers in 6 lanes. Gwen Hibbard, the freshman from Ayersville, will be in lane 3, and Defiance's Francesca, did we say is Mataris?
I believe so.
In lane 4. So they've got the central part of the pool here.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, according to Jordan, I believe Francesca is one of the exchange students at Defiance this year, giving swimming a try. As you see, foreign exchange students often dipping their toes into different athletic competitions.
Look at Gwen Hibbard. Lane number 3. Right now going neck and neck with Cammie Crandall from Anthony Wayne, a junior.
It's a good swim by both of these young ladies. They're going to hit their first 50 in about 42 seconds, which would, in theory, put them in that minute 20-ish.
Crandall looks like she's saved her best for the second half of this race.
Yeah, you can see she's got the great coordination with the pole, got the kick. Now you can see, though, she's bobbing her head out. She's going to have to keep that chin tucked down in there. It'll help her see that head movement in and out of the water. Keep that chin down, tuck it in.
Well, they didn't give her a time, wasn't listed. So we'll see what she finishes in here.
This could be really good.
Sub 130. Yes, 128.91.
128.91. That's a really strong swim for a no time. And then Gwen Hibbard, 136.74. That is 15 seconds.
Man.
Ish. And that's quick math for me, but that is a fantastic swim for the freshman from Ayersville.
And in lane 6, Paige Bruckenberger from Anthony Wayne hits the wall to bring an end to this heat. Heat number 2. We will see Jordan Bush in the center of the pool, lane 3 for Defiance. Halen Smith will have the outside lane in 6. Lima Central Catholic's Addie Lauk in lane 1. Nora O'Shea from Anthony Wayne in lane 2. And then in lanes 4 and 5 will be Colleen Hildebrand and Macy Gottschalk. Again, both a pair of generals.
Get that underwater dolphin, and here we go, out of the water. You can see strong swims from really all 6 lanes here. Hildebrand in lane 4 gets a nice turn there, and she will exit the water in first place.
Well, Bush and Gottschalk staying within half a body's length here.
And don't count out Nora O'Shea from Anthony Wayne, the sophomore in lane number 2, is coming on strong as well. And now's where it comes in. How much do you have left here? That last 50. This is one of those events that Jordan asked to swim today. She's a two-time district qualifier in this event, so she was hoping to be able to compete in this event, if nothing else, today.
She'll make the turn in second.
And this is where it's going to come in. Can she finish off here? This race, though, is going to go to Colleen Hildebrand.
Yep.
She's got a very strong swim here. She's going to take a little bit of time off of her PR.
A little bit.
Nora O'Shea in lane 2 taking a few seconds off, and
Jordan Bush finishing in third.
she did. So, probably the longest she swam all year.
Good showing. It's tough when you're trying to come back from injury. It's as much mental as it is physical.
Sure.
Heat 2.
So we move on to
I was going to say, this should be event number
My bad.
22, right?
Event 22. Boys 100 yards.
I was going to say, unless they're asking them to swim it again, I got a better one in me.
a couple of those swimmers are probably going to go, no thank you.
Exactly. So Javier Moreno for Defiance, the junior in lane 2. Drew Boyd from Ayersville in lane 3. And Carson O'Brien, a freshman from Eastwood, in lane 4. And we've got an extra swimmer. This is going to be, I see a Lima Central. Is that a Lima Central?
I think it's an Eastwood.
Eastwood, okay.
I think that's who we figured out was, it could be Lima Central Catholic, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Eastwood swimmer, I believe, is in actually lane 4 right now.
Okay.
Who's our red capped in lane 3?
The lane 3 is Drew Boyd from Ayers.
Okay, wait a minute. I was off one. Excuse me. There's nobody in lane 1.
Yeah.
That would be why I was, okay. Yeah, exactly, Drew.
So
we know who you are.
We have a mystery swimmer in lane 5.
5. It's lane 5, which I do believe is an Eastwood swimmer, correct? Or not an Eastwood swimmer, but yeah, we'll just let the swimmer swim.
Yeah. We're not out there swimming. So
No.
he's doing a good job here.
Yes, mystery man.
This is going to be our second heat today, where we've had an unknown swimmer taking first place.
You got to give him a nickname. We'll call him Winner. He's the first one to the wall.
And with a really good swim at 120. I mean, that's an impressive time. I mean, it's a great swim by that young man.
Oh man. Woo. We got another heat. Tell you what, we're getting down to the last of this one here, bud.
One more heat of this, and then the 400 relays, which are combined.
Yep.
So 2 events left. A blink of an eye, and it's 6:30.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like a blink of an eye? Good crowd on hand here today, too. I don't know if Richard can get a shot of the gallery from the opposite side. There we go. Well, you saw it for a second.
Always good to see the parents and different people coming out to support these young kids. We got Braden Miller from Elmwood, the sophomore in lane number 1. Louis Zimmerman, a freshman from Ayersville in lane number 2. Senior Jarrett Jenkins from Anthony Wayne in lane 3. Max Gottschalk from Anthony Wayne in lane 4. Sophomore Lincoln Woods from LCC in lane 5. And Sam Bros of Anthony Wayne, a sophomore in lane number 6. And we got another good one here between 2 generals in lanes 3 and 4. Jenkins and Gottschalk. I think we've said that already today.
It's been a common theme throughout tonight's meet.
Well, Jenkins comes in 3 seconds ahead of Gottschalk seating-wise, but there is maybe 0.3 of a second separation in these 2 right now.
They were in tandem for just a couple of strokes. It was beautiful to watch.
It's like Gottschalk might have got him here. The junior standing out.
Oh, who's got the better reach?
And it'll be Jenkins in lane number 3.
108.56 versus 108.70. Are we talking about fractions of a second?
Well, you saw it there again. The turns, they stayed in tandem. They paced each other. and you push each other right down the pool lane. And for both of those young men, well, for Jenkins, that's almost 2 seconds added on to his seat time, and for Gottschalk, he dropped a second and a half to challenge him there. So I can tell you, tomorrow at practice, what do you think is going to be happening between those two?
A little friendly competition. Scoop Miller has told me he will be happy to be your pace man at Boncho's on taco night. So see if you take him up on that.
It seems like a much better pace for me. Down to the final event, and they get three girls from Anthony Wayne.
Combined events.
And a couple of Anthony Waynes and an Ayersville team and boys. So
400-yard freestyle relay.
Put them all in the pool together and
let them go, baby.
Let them go.
This one goes to 11. Crank it all the way up.
I believe the Anthony Wayne girls will take this one. See what happens.
Yes, exactly.
I guess they're going to have just two. Looks like lane 1 is out. So
okay.
Anthony Wayne's A group of women in lane 3. Their B group in lane number 2. Or excuse me, in lane number 2. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 is Anthony Wayne's A group from the boys. Ayersville in lane 5, and Anthony Wayne's B group in lane number 6. And don't look now, Anthony Wayne's B group in lane number 6 leading everybody down the pool.
Why not? Just kind of treat it as a free-for-all, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's that freestyle. Everybody's got 100, so it's your final 100 of the day.
Empty your tank.
It's like when you get to that 18th tee box.
And grip it and rip it.
Yep. Tee them high, let them fly, whatever you want to say. But good showing here from Ayersville. I tell you what, they are keeping pace with both of these Anthony Wayne squads.
This should be, well, I'm not sure who it is.
Well, it's scheduled to be Levi
but we know he's not here tonight. So
trying to see if I can figure out who that is.
So I look over at Coach English, though, on the far side of the deck. She looks like she could still swim. Does she not?
I believe she still does get in the pool.
No eligibility for her, though, apparently.
No eligibility. So she was a very, very good swimmer in her day here at Defiance. Trying to see if she was able to get her name on that.
You see her over there? Your eyes are better than mine if you can read that.
Well, there was a young lady here around 2000 by the name of Lauren Dirk, and she went on to swim in the SEC, I believe, and her name's on most of those up there. So on the record board, but Nicole definitely had some good swims. Made her way to districts, I'm sure.
And she's motioning to her man in the far, if you can indeed hear her from the far side of the deck. What are the rules with regards to where the coaches how far they can roam, I guess?
For the most part, I don't know that there's a specific guideline of where you can and cannot go.
So it's not like a box for basketball?
Now, I will tell you, when you get into the tournament swimming, there will be DQ zones. You see it in larger invitational meets and things like that, and that's there'll be areas that are for officials only. There'll be areas that are coaches and officials only. Swimmers can obviously, if swimmers find themselves in the wrong spot, they can be disqualified. So they get a little bit more restrictive when you get into the OHSAA tournament type of things, but you'll see coaches kind of roaming up and down. Most of them stay out from behind the blocks unless they have to go talk to a swimmer, but you'll see them occasionally wander down to the turn side, and just depends. I think a lot of, most of them will tell you, just stay out of the way of the official.
Exactly. Everything else is little cream cheese.
Looks like Anthony Wayne's B group here. James Harden finishing off there, and that's going to be a 3:55.
Solid.
It's a really good swim. As the other Anthony Wayne team comes in at just over 4 minutes, and Ayersville's going to have a really good swim here. Drew Boyd looks like he's finishing up that group for them, and they're going to be at 4:11. That's a really, really good swim for them, and kind of putting the finishing touches here on this.
Say, Boyd, normally it's not a phrase I think you'd use with swimming, but brute.
Yeah.
He just bruted out those last couple of laps. Very strong. And Anthony Wayne touches for the ladies. That should put a nice blue and white bow on our meet here tonight.
Absolutely.
And that concludes our swim meet for today. Thank you all for coming out. Have safe travels home. And on your way out, make sure you can thank our officials, Mark Hall and Amy Grog, for officiating a great match.
We recommend you do the same, no matter what meet you go to.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, this I'm remembering last year versus this year. This year, almost to the snap of the fingers from the start to the finish, doesn't it?
It seems like it went pretty quick here today. Obviously, you take out, I think we had some diving.
Obviously, without the diving.
In last year's meet, which, depending on the number of divers that you have, can be a short amount of time or a long amount of time. But as you see, some of the looks like the Anthony Wayne swimmers are getting their cool downs in here.
Yeah. We want to take a break to wrap
absolutely.
our post game here. So we're going to take a quick timeout. We come back. It will be our South 66 post meet show. Don't go anywhere. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. last 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Back at the YMCA swimming pool. We have
The Opal.
I was going to say, you want to go with the Opal? I think it kind of has a little bit of panache to it. Sure. The Opal. We'll see if it sticks. Palvin alongside Josh Bush.
Until we get back here next year, probably not.
Exactly. So. Meet is in the books, though, and what we saw was really, number one, a lot of youth being served today, but how many PRs in almost seemingly every event?
And that's a goal. Obviously, you talk to teenage kids, they want to win. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, when they go back and talk with coaches at practice tomorrow, the next day, it's going to be about we set PRs.
Yeah.
And anytime you can come out here in a sport like this and do better than you did previously, that's going to eventually lead you to those times. And the kids will tell you as you get into that sectional, it's not about necessarily where you finish. Obviously, if you finish high, you're going to go. But you have to hit a time, and they all know what those times are based off of the last couple of years, and that's their goal. If they want to go on to hitting that districts or whatever it is, they want to hit a time because they know that's going to get them high enough in the seating to get that district qualification.
Look, you expect to be better in January than you were in December. You expect to be better at the end of January than you were at the beginning of January. It's all about, I don't want to say peaking too soon, but making slow but steady progress, and it looks like from several swimmers' perspectives, we saw that tonight.
Hey, now you're going to get into progressing through the month of January. Your league championships are going to start coming up. WBLs for some of these teams are going to be coming up, and their respective leagues, they're going to swim those. And then you've got sectionals coming up. And it's usually mid-February that you hit sectionals, and you'll start to get those taper swims where they'll taper for a week, back down the times, back down the workout, so that hopefully your body's a little bit, more rejuvenated going into that weekend. So, but you want to be peaking right now. That between now and February, this is when you want to peak. So when you hit that tournament trail or that league meet that you are going to be able to have your best times at the best time of the year.
Anything stand out at you in particular tonight?
I think you said it earlier. The amount of freshmen, the amount of sophomores that we saw contributing here today to their teams with good swims, with solid PR performances. That is what you look for in a coach, because your upperclassmen, they're going to do great for you here, but are they leaving anything with these underclassmen? Are they helping them with pace? Are they doing those things at practice? We saw the Anthony Wayne team jump in for their little cool down afterwards, and that was a team-led thing. The coach says, how many laps, but the team's over there doing what they do, and they're in the pool cooling down. That's a senior leadership, and it's showing in the freshmen and the sophomores.
Well, again, we get a chance to do this once a year, but I tell you what, from last year to this year, I think we maybe set a few PRs ourselves. So
up and down the stairs a little quicker this year. So,
Josh, appreciate it as always, throwing on a headset with you and our crew just doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Richard, of course, roaming the pool deck. He didn't fall in the pool. Obviously, if he would have just leave the camera out of the water, but Cody doing a great job. Tristan and Ryan always do a great job. They put in a lot of time and effort to make things look and I don't know. They add a little bit. I challenge them from time to time.
This is a challenge, though, considering where you normally set up. This is you're limited space-wise for broadcasts when you come to the pool.
Yeah, we were sitting in the office last week, and I was telling Tristan Ryan, I said, let's go check out the pool, scout it out a little bit. And there happened to be a swim meet last week, so Tristan and I came out here doing swim. That's the first time he'd ever been to a swim meet. And now he's producing one on TV. So,
and he wishes he could do one every day. I don't know if you can see him in the background here, but, man, he is amped. He thinks that this one should go at least another round, but maybe for another day.
Another day, yeah.
Absolutely. Big thank you always going out to our underwriters, our sponsors, helping make this broadcast a possibility. I know, Josh, we always end the broadcast with a big thank you to them, but in all honesty, we can't do what we do without the business support. And if you appreciate it, folks, walk through those businesses' doors, let them know, and also maybe spend a little cash and let them know on the way out.
And if anybody that you know is not doing it, we've got room for it.
Plenty of room. We got a PR just waiting for you. Let's see. Our next broadcast is going to be Friday night.
Yep. Early tip-off.
For reasons that we will talk about at a later date, but just the same, ought to be a good one. Defiance at 8-1, the boys taking on a Van Wert team that's a couple games below 500. But as I was taking a look at their record, they've lost 4 games by a basket.
Yeah,
basically 2 points or less. So this ought to be a good one. And again, we'll be on the air with a rare 5:45 pregame time with a 6:15 tip on Friday. So ought to be a good one there.
Looking forward to it.
That's going to do it for our broadcast here this evening. Again, a big thank you going out to our crew, our sponsors, and as always, for you, the fan, for tuning in. For Josh Bush, I'm Brent Balbinot. You've been watching a sports presentation of DCTV Sports.